Hej så, mit navn er Liam. I denne video vil du kunne høre om 5 metoder du kan bruge, når du oversætter dansk til dit eget sprog eller et andet sprog. Lyt ned og lær. Use Google, but use it wisely. You know, we all know that Google gets quite a bad rap when it comes to translating texts, but there's no denying it. It's made to translate, and it's not all bad. What I mean is that if you're using Google and especially if you're throwing a big text into Google, don't just throw it into Google and expect it to be correct. Check it. You've got to be the editor. Sometimes Google can point you in the right direction. It can give you an idea or an inclination of what a translation is or what it could mean, and then you've got to sort of decode it a little. Maybe you have to rearrange the words, check the verb tenses and these kind of things. And sometimes you will know, like, Google, you're full of shit, that's not right. When you reach this level of contributing to Google, then you know that you're bossing the language. That's basically it. Use Google, don't be ashamed to use Google, but just be careful. Method number 2 is cross-reference apps. 3 that I can think of right now: HelloTalk, Say Hi, and Babla. These 3 are pretty good. With Say Hi and HelloTalk, the translations are pretty accurate. Again, you still got to check them, make sure that everything's right. The cool thing about Babla is that you often get examples, so you get some example sentences. If all 3 apps are all saying the same thing, you can be pretty sure that the translation is correct. If they're all saying different things, you maybe need to research a little more, get outside of these apps, find out what's going on. And method 3, use a real dictionary. I've said it before. Here are some links that you can use. These websites are awesome. You should be using them all the time. It's cool if you're a beginner, I understand. It's a little hard to use a Danish dictionary. What you can do is throw a word into a dictionary, and if you can't understand the translation, then you can take that translation, that text, and put it into another translator. Translate the translation, whatever. Method or tip number 4 is stay away from direct translations. Of course, I can only really speak for Danish to English or English to Danish, but I know that with English it's very easy to translate Danish directly. But if you're speaking Danish translating directly from your own language, your Danish is going to sound a little awkward, maybe a little weird, and often wrong, probably. What you have to do is, for example, if you're translating from Danish to your own language, really think about how you would say this phrase in your own language, because the direct translation probably sounds a little weird. Okay, so here's an example. Hvornår har du sidst været i byen? Hvornår har du sidst været i byen? What does it mean? Literally, when were you last in the city? When have you last been in the city? Something like that. Okay, cool. But this is not the meaning of the sentence. Not really. How do you know? Well, yeah. At gå i byen, this means to go out, like when you're going out drinking or something in the town, in the city. Of course, it's a little tricky if you don't know that at gå i byen means to go out. But that just means you have to, yeah, well, now you know. So a better translation in English would be like, when was the last time you went out? Or when did you go out lately? Something like that. So it just requires a little more time, a little more processing time, and maybe a little more research if you're not sure, if something doesn't sound right. Okay, this takes us nicely onto number 5. Research and follow trails. This is gold. This is the one you'll have most success with, and it doesn't involve a translator at all. This is a little trick that I figured out, and I'm so fond of it, I almost don't want to give it away, but sharing is caring. This is actually more when you're going from your own language or English to Danish. So maybe you have an idea of how to say this thing. You've got a phrase, but you're not sure. Something doesn't seem right. Maybe you're not sure if the preposition you're using is the right one. Here's what you do. You throw the phrase into Google, and I don't mean Google Translate, I mean the search engine. Chances are you get some hits. If this word, this phrase, is something that exists, the first page should be full of examples like news articles, maybe some books, stories, blog posts where Danes are using this phrase or these words, these prepositions. So if you can get a page full of hits, you know that this phrase, it exists, it's right, what you're saying is correct. If there's kind of not really anything on the first page, or a few of your keywords are crossed out, try the next page. Maybe you'll find something on the next page. If there's nothing on the first 2 pages, you can be sure that you're talking shit. You can be sure that this phrase probably doesn't exist, or I'm saying it totally wrong. So sometimes you'll have to work a little harder. You'll have to click on these links, get inside the article, read it, check the context. Sometimes you will have a word crossed out. Shit happens. But research a little, follow the trails, and you will find something. If you can find 2 or 3 reliable articles, you can be sure it exists. That's my 5 methods or tips to translating. Of course, this is just a guide. Jeg håber, at du kunne lide mine tips, og jeg håber, at du kan bruge den. Vi ses næste gang. Hej.